Hey guys, what is going on? Nick here with Gear Nut. So, if you know me and you've been following my channel, then you're going to realize that the Leatherman Charge TTI is usually in a Kydex holster on my hip every day. But sometimes when I leave the house and I can't carry, like, let's say an example, let's say I'm wearing some pants without a belt or some shorts that does not have belt loops. This doesn't go with me, this stays at home. So, what I wanted was a nice little multi-tool that could go with me everywhere, everywhere that I go. So one of my viewers actually suggested the multi-tool. But before we get to that, I wanted to share this little, super little pocket knife. So I've had this thing for a really long time. My father actually gave it to me. This is kind of one of our little family traditions. It's even got a half stop. Look at that. It's 38 millimeters here to here. And look at this. It's 65 millimeters long. It's tiny. Just look at this. It's tiny. But anyhow, for a long time this was the knife on my keychain. This was my backup knife on my keychain. And that's the whole point of showing you this. It's not to explain, family history or anything like that. But anyhow, this little bell back here, or what do you guys want to call this little hoop actually popped apart and it fell off in my pocket and I couldn't find it. It's just so little. And I was afraid to lose it, so I took it off. And I haven't replaced it since. And it's been a while, it's been a long time. So, one of my viewers commented and said, Gear Nut, why don't you take and put a Leatherman Squirt PS4 on your keychain? And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. I wrote it down in my notebook and I was like, well, when I get the funds and I get around to it, I'll pick one up. I should have bought this a long time ago. So my keys consist of 4 keys, a car key, a couple house keys. This is basically all it is. On a little roller chain link adapter or splicer. You can pick these up at Menards. That's what I did. Threw some washers in there. Tape all over my keys because I don't want people making copies of them. So, and then my Jeep remote. So, if you guys you've probably seen these Jeep remotes. Look at this. You can hide the Squirt PS4 behind a Jeep remote. Look at that. Let me flip it over so you can get a really good size reference. I didn't realize how small this was. I've seen them on the internet. I've just seen them on people's keys, but I never held one in my hand for an extended period of time. Each square here is 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, if that gives you a size reference. But check this out. The thing I love about it, it's got my pliers. I love my pliers, and these are not going to be heavy-duty pliers. They got wire cutters. These are going to be what I classify as a retrieving or pinching or pulling little tool. It's not going to be for cutting, nails and stuff like that. It's not going to be for taking off 1/2 inch bolts and stuff like that. Well, I guess you could get onto maybe a 1/2 inch bolt because they do open up pretty well. But they're just thin. They're extremely light duty pliers. But for getting down into a crack or pinching something, they'll work extremely well. So, there's no other tools on the interior of this portion, so let's shut this. They're spring-loaded, though, so you Leatherman, what are they called, wingman fans? I like the wingman, but I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. But I do like spring-loaded pliers, especially in a light-duty multi-tool. On the exterior, you have a file. So it's got a wood file on one side. It's got a metal file. So the wood file doesn't really file very much, The metal file, now that starts to give you some grab. On the very front up here, it's kind of sheared off, so it creates a chisel edge point on the very tip. You'll probably see me take this to a belt sander and square this tip up so I can use it as a screwdriver or a little pry tool, and that's probably what I'll be doing a little bit later this week. I'm getting ready to go to work, so I'm trying to do some videos right before that. So you'll probably see me 90 degree this and make it picture perfect. That way I can use it as a screwdriver. At this point, it's just too much of a chisel edge to use as a screwdriver. That's how it came from the factory. Speaking of chisel edges, it's got a chisel grind on it. I hate chisel grinds. I just hate them. But on a small knife like this, a little backup knife, they're perfectly fine. You know, they're pretty simple to maintain. They're pretty simple to sharpen. You sharpen one side and deburr the other, you know. But so on a little knife like this, it doesn't bother me too much. Would I like to see, you know, a double-edged, a V on this blade? Yeah, I would. But at the price point, I can see why they went that way. The pull on this, I mean, look at this. The pull, I don't even have to use the nail nick. I can just friction fold it out. So Leatherman, you might want to upgrade your pull weight. If I would say this is a pull weight, this is a 1. You know, you probably want at least a 3 or a 4 on this. So that spring needs to be a little bit stiffer on that side. On the file side, it's a lot better. It's way more stiff. So anyhow, that's this side. I absolutely love the blade shape though. Look at that. It's got some belly up here. It's fantastic. I should have checked this out a long time ago. One thing, you do have to have some fingernails to get some of these tools out. So they do have scissors. Look at these little guys. And let's compare it real quick. You know, this isn't going to be a comparison. This is kind of an overview. But look at this. So the Charge TTI scissors and the PS4 scissors. So if you're wondering how small this little guy is, we'll match these center points up. And there you go. Look at that. They are tiny. They're like a little bobtail scissor. You know, it's pretty cool. So they're spring powered. They work extremely well. They're awesome. They're actually very impressive for the size. I mean, there's a lot of tools packed into this little guy. So absolutely love that. This is kind of where it starts getting fun, because this could be your little flat screwdriver or a Phillips screwdriver. So it's got like a little micro flat edge up here. But it could be your Phillips screwdriver as well. It could be an improvised little light prying tool. It's pretty cool, you know. The other side, back here, the bottle opener. Now, the bottle opener, I'm not too sure. I haven't tested this out, but it doesn't seem that it's deep enough right here to really get a good purchase on a bottle. I might have to file out some portion on here, but it is what it is. It's at least got a nice flat blade, you know, prying edge on there. So you could use your little micro Phillips driver for that, or you could use this side. So it's got a lot of possibilities, but the size and the weight, just look at this. Look at that. Look how small that is. That is impressive. It is tiny, guys. So anyhow, I'm not sure who exactly suggested this to me. I really wish that I knew your name. I'm sorry about that. Comment section below if you did suggest this to me a while back. Hit me up and take some credit for that, because this is a home run recommendation for me. You know, it gives you a nice little backup on your keys. You know, it doesn't make your keys too big and bulky, and I absolutely love it. So the next phase, or the next step to upgrading my keychain, is going to be a flashlight. So if you have a recommendation for a good flashlight that will fit on here, be compact, and be probably the best flashlight you can get, hit me up in the comment section below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. And tell you what, this little Squirt PS4, you should really check it out. It's pretty freaking awesome. So Nick here with Gear Nut, just sharing how my EDC is basically evolving and what I'm finding out works for me. You know, your life will change, so your EDC should change with you as well. So I am a father and a husband, so I have a wonderful wife, and I have 2 boys. I have a 7-year-old, he'll be turning 8 in October, and I have a 5-year-old. So having these little tools helps me out, and it helps my family out. So that's what I got. I'll check you guys later.